Good afternoon, students. I hope you all are doing well in your homes. In our last lecture, we talked about different mediums on which we can advertise a product. Now, how to select the best media? How to figure out which media is the best media to advertise a product? It basically depends on two things. Number one is the budget, and the second is the people you want to reach out to, your target consumer. So, if your target consumer is youth, the best mediums to advertise a product is social media, maybe games and all. But if your target consumer is rural audience, then the best medium to advertise is maybe radio, television, newspaper, more of a traditional media. So we will study about all these mediums one by one. We'll start with newspaper. If we talk about newspaper is one of the most credible form of media to advertise your product. Also, one more thing, newspaper, the highest percentage of ads you see anywhere, the highest percentage of spending on an advertisement is on newspaper. So that's why you see that most of your newspaper nowadays is cluttered with ads. One more thing, sometimes you see front page full ad in newspaper. The front page full display ad is called jacket ad. Remember, the front page full display ad is called jacket ad. And newspaper advertisements rank highest for credibility for all media. The another advantage of advertising on newspaper is it offers high local coverage and immediate delivery of your message. Second thing is it is low cost. What do I mean by immediate delivery of your message? That means if I want to advertise something tomorrow only, it can be done. It is possible. So immediately I can deliver my message by tomorrow morning. The another advantage newspaper has is preservation value. What do I mean by preservation value? That means that people can preserve the newspaper. People sometimes cut out some pieces from the newspaper and preserve them. So in that way, your ad has some, preservation value. People preserve it sometimes. And there are also some special sections like the shopping guide, which inculcate the habit in the readers to regularly follow up that section. And Sunday supplements have a higher and special readership, a kind of a loyal readership. Now, what are the disadvantages of advertising on newspaper? The disadvantages can be, number one is the cluttered and competitive environment. That means that your ad is in a very competitive environment. There is not one ad or two ad. The whole newspaper is so much cluttered with ad that sometimes your specific ad doesn't get that much attention because it's in a very cluttered and competitive environment. Now the next thing is the production quality is also very low in newspaper. While you advertise on newspaper, the production quality is not up to the mark. It's very traditional form of advertising. And one more thing, it has a very short lifespan. So if the consumer is not preserving that clipping, that piece of your ad, then your newspaper has only a 1 day lifespan. So that doesn't serve the purpose sometimes. Next, we'll talk about magazines. What are the advantages of advertising your ad on magazines? Number one, best visual and overall production quality. If you compare it with newspaper, if you advertise your product on magazine, then the visual and the overall production quality is much better. Also, they have longer shelf life as compared to newspaper. Magazine has at least a shelf life of 7 days or even 10 days. So they have a longer shelf life. Your ad will be there in the magazine and it has a longer shelf life. So it's good for your ad. It will get more views. And one more thing, magazine has some assured and loyal readership. There are some people who only read Outlook or India Today. So if your ad is there, your ad will get high prestige and your ad will get high shelf life, and your ad will be seen by them as a credible ad. And so I just say that it has some selective readership. So those selected people will definitely read your ad. That's what I mean by loyal readership. Now, what are the disadvantages of advertising your ad on a magazine? The disadvantages can be inability to deliver message immediately, because magazine only comes once in a week. So if I want to disseminate some message by tomorrow morning, maybe that's not possible because the magazine only comes on Friday, like Filmfare. So I cannot deliver my message immediately, instantly. And comparatively high cost. If you compare it with newspaper, if you want to advertise something on newspaper, then that cost is low. But if you want to advertise something on magazine, then you will have to invest more. So comparatively, it's high cost. And frequency is also very low. Like in newspaper, if you compare it with newspaper, ad comes on newspaper every day. But magazines only comes once in a week, so the frequency is low. Next we will talk about is radio. Now, what are the advantages of advertising your product on radio? Radio advertisement have the following main advantages. Number one, they deliver the message immediately and with a very high frequency. That means if I want to advertise something in the evening, then that is possible. I can do that. I can advertise something instantly on radio. So you can deliver your message immediately and with a very high frequency, even within a single day. What does that mean? That means that my ad can be broadcasted on radio many times back to back. Second thing is, it has a captive audience. Your audience is like a prisoner who cannot go anywhere and who is stuck to the channel. So your ad is in a very good medium. Somehow your target consumer will have to listen to your ad on radio. Next thing is, it also has a very low cost of production. Yeah, it's compared to TV, it's very cheap. It has a very low cost of production. It doesn't take much money. It doesn't take much investment to advertise your product on radio. And it can reach the traveling audience too, due to transistors and car radios. The person who is traveling will definitely listen to your radio, and if he will listen to your radio, you can also target the traveling audience to advertise your product. Now, what are the disadvantages of advertising on radio? The disadvantages can be, number one, you can only advertise audio messages. You can only disseminate audio messages. So that is one disadvantage. What's the next disadvantage? That your ads have a very short life. They have no shelf life. Your ad is only there for few seconds. So that is another disadvantage. Now what next? Next is that again your ads on radio are in a very competitive environment. They are in a very clustered environment. That means they are already competing with so many other ads. So it's not good to advertise something in so much cluttered and competitive environment. You should avoid that. That's about it, and we will study about other different mediums where we can advertise a product like television, direct mail in our next lecture. For now, that's about it. Thank you for listening to me.